Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Saturday, the 26th of September. And we are having some technical issues this morning, folks, but we will battle on through. In the news today, we've got updates from Formula One, the worlds of rugby, NRL. What else? We've got some golf in there as well. And also some hammer throwing, all in there. So kicking off with the rugby, and yesterday we had the Mitre 10 Cup kicked off with Wellington up against Bay of Plenty, where they won 32 to 10. It was close at half time, but Wellington ran away with it in the second half. Before that, we had the Farah Palmer Cup, where we had a cracking game between Wellington and Manawatu, and that finished 28 to 31. Manawatu just edging that one there. On Wednesday, Bowden Barrett and Hannah, his wife, or his Bowden Barrett's wife, gave birth to their first child, and so congratulations to them. They named her Billy Rose Barrett. So congratulations to them. Coincidentally, Billy is also the name that Richie Mwanga and his wife called their daughter, who was born recently as well. Moving on then into the Formula One, and in the Formula One, it is the Russian Grand Prix this weekend, and Mercedes, unsurprisingly, are going well in practice. There, Bottas was the fastest, with Hamilton second fastest in the second practice over there. In the NBA, and the Lakers registered their third victory over the Nuggets to take a 3-1 lead in that series, and putting them on course to face probably the Heat, who are leading the Celtics 3-1 in their series. The Lakers beat the Nuggets 114 to 108 in that one. The Nuggets clearly showing the fatigue from having had two 7-game series to get to this stage in the competition. Moving on then, the final, the Heat will have the opportunity to qualify for the final of the NBA when they play the Celtics today at 12:30 p.m. New Zealand time. Over in the PGA, and Tim Wilkinson is out on the course for round 2 of the Corales Punta Resort and Club Championship. He is currently tied 37th on. He's on 4 under par for the tournament so far. He has just played the 8th hole there. So Tim Wilkinson having a decent tournament over there in the USA. Over on to road cycling, and yesterday saw the UCI World Championships men's time trial. Filippo Gann of Italy took the gold medal in that one, with Wout van Aert second from Belgium, and Stefan Kung of Switzerland. Of Sweden. No, Switzerland. Switzerland in bronze there. Wout van Aert and Stefan Kung both obviously came off the back of good Tour de France rides. For New Zealand, Patrick Bevan came in at 12th, and Finn Fisher-Black came in 50th out of a 57 strong field. So Congratulations to the Kiwi riders there. And today sees the women's road race world championship. We'll bring you results of that tomorrow. Over in the Hammer, and last weekend saw an event held for basically they had that to bring the athletics season to a close for the New Zealand athletes, and Lauren Bruce was the only women's hammer thrower there. The 23-year-old though had a fantastic event where she threw 4 times past her personal best, which had been 68 meters and 14 centimeters. Not only did she throw past her personal best, but she also went past the New Zealand and Oceania record. It used to stand at 72 and 35.75, but now is at 37 meters 48. So congratulations to her on that. She would have also thrown, she also threw past the automatic qualification distance for the Olympics, but unfortunately it won't count as it has to happen after the 1st of December. But Lauren Bruce, obviously having in the form of her life there. We're going to hand you over to Stephen now, who's going to take us through our birthdays. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning. Good morning, Paul. A couple of little password issues, but eventually we got there. What's a very grey day here in Auckland. Looks like we might even be having a little bit of precipitation. Hopefully it'll blow over, and whatever you're doing today, what is the first day of the weekend will be a great day for you. In birthdays today, we start with Sam Christie, born this day, the 26th of September 1986, is a New Zealand rugby union footballer who regularly plays at first half. Born in Tokoroa, Christie has represented New Zealand schools, Waikato Development, Waikato Under-20 and Bay of Plenty Under-23. He made his senior debut for Waikato during the 2006 season and has played 33 games and scored 15 points for his province. Having been overlooked by all super franchises in his homeland, Christie agreed to join the Western Force ahead of the 2013 Super Rugby season, where he was part of their extended playing squad. Moving right along, Emma K. Robinson, born this day, 26th of September 1994, is a New Zealand swimmer who competed at the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. She competed in the women's 800-meter freestyle, but did not qualify for the final. Robinson was born on the 26th of September 1994. Now, of Māori descent, Robinson affiliates to Ngāpuhi Iwi. She studied at Victoria University in Wellington. And finally, Shane Dye, born this day, 26th of September 1966, in the township of Matamata, New Zealand, is a jockey. He was an apprentice jockey to Dave O'Sullivan at Matamata, great trainer, before moving to Sydney, Australia, initially working with Vic Thompson at Warwick Farm in the late 1980s. Dye rode Mauritius after 8 years in Hong Kong. Dye has not ridden in a competitive race since 2013 and said he will not only return to racing, but also inducted to the Australian Hall of Fame in 2014 as well. A great jockey. I'd have some more stats on him, but Wikipedia left me a little short this morning. Thank you, Paul. I'll be back with lead news very shortly.
Thank you very much, Stephen. We're obviously I've had technical issues as well with my computer dying on me, but we restarted it, and so we're getting through. Going back to rugby, and this weekend sees rugby return in South Africa with the double header, or Super Rugby double header with over there. If you want to get all the details of that and how playing at this time of year will impact that, then you can head over to newzealandsportradio.com, where myself and John O'Connor have done nearly a half-hour video purely talking about the return of rugby to South Africa. So check that out. As I say, this weekend we have two games: the Bulls versus the Sharks and the Lions versus the Stormers. Also today, we will be at, or I will be at, the Bay of Plenty versus Taranaki in the Farah Palmer Cup. So, folks, don't forget to like the New Zealand Sport Radio Facebook page for our post-match interviews and reports from the Farah Palmer Cup. We'll also be at a couple of games tomorrow as well. So, in both Farah Palmer Cup and the Mitre 10 Cup. So, as I say, look out for those reports. I'm going to hand you back now to Stephen, who's going to take us through our NRL update. And boy, oh boy, I think we've got a bit of a big score on this one in the sport that just keeps on giving.
Oh, we have, Paul. A couple of, well, one result isn't really a surprise because one team's hit some great late season form, but I suppose the other result is the big thumping of the Sydney Roosters by the Rabbitohs, and it wasn't a small scoreline, and we'll get to that shortly. We'll have a quick look at the games coming up today and also the Betfred League as well. We'll start with the first game of, well, it wasn't the first game, it's the second game of round 20. It was the Titans v the Knights, and it was the Titans that took out the Knights by 36 points to 6 at Super Cyber Stadium after they led by 16 points to 6 at halftime. It was a 7-try-1 victory to the Titans. The only try for the Knights being scored by Edrich Lee in the first half, converted by Mason Lenor. But for the victors, there was a brace of tries each to Ashley Taylor, who scored in the second and the 61st minute, and to Alexander Brimson, who scored in the 49th and the 67th minute. Other tries for the Titans were scored by Mitch Rain in the 24th, Brian Kelly in the 37th minute, and Kevin Proctor scored the final try in the 70th minute. So quite a comprehensive win to the Titans, 36 points to 6. But the big result came in the second game, where the Roosters were humbled by the Rabbitohs by 60 points to 8 after they led by 24 points to 4 at halftime. That game was played at ANZ Stadium. Of course, the Roosters just scoring the 2 tries in each half, one to Josh Morris. Started well enough for them. They were the first try scorers in the 3rd minute, and Daniel Tupou scored in the 56th minute. So it's not as if they stuck an under-strength side out there, but for the Rabbitohs, Alex Johnston scored, 5 tries. He scored in the 17th, the 29th, and he scored 3 tries within 5 minutes in the 72nd, 75th, and 77th minute. Wow. We also had Cody Taylor with a brace of tries in the 13th and 59th minute. And it seems lonely for these other try scorers, scoring 1 each. Campbell Graham in the 31st minute, Corey Allen in the 49th minute. All the rest of the points coming by way of the boot for Adam Reynolds, who also was on song with the boot at last night's game. He kicked, looked like he kicked 8 conversions and 2 penalties. So he whacked over everything on offer. So that final score again, if you're a Rooster supporter, close your ears. 60 points to 8 after the Rabbitohs led by 24 points to 4 at halftime. Just looking at today's games on offer, ANZ Stadium at 5 p.m. sees the Bulldogs taking on the Panthers. Can the Panthers keep that incredible streak going? I suggest they will. Then we've got the Sharks taking on the Raiders, and that's from Nestra Jubilee Stadium in Sydney. That's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. And our final game of the evening sees the West Tigers take on the Parramatta Eels, and that's coming from Bankwest Stadium, and that is a 9:35 p.m. kickoff. So that rounds off our games today. We'll quickly have a look at the Super League, and a game we didn't get to cover yesterday morning. The final game was between Castleford and Uddersfield, and it was Uddersfield that came away with the win by 31 points to 19. And in the game this morning, saw Warrington too good for the Catalans, winning 30 points to 16. That's all our league news today. Paul, I can just see the sun starting to poke through, so we've got a high of 19 degrees today in the Auckland, and the roads, being the weekend, should be pretty quiet. That's our league news today, Paul. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day at the rugby this afternoon. I'm sorry I can't make it along to the Farah Palmer Cup game between North Harbour and Auckland, but I'll be having a quick look on the box later this afternoon. Should be a beauty.
Absolutely should be. And don't forget, folks, if you are driving around, just like you see Stephen is in his car, you can listen to us on the podcast Just search for New Zealand Sports Radio on your favourite podcatcher, be it iHeartRadio or iTunes, and you can listen to us as you drive around this weekend.
I was about to say, Paul, I am parked up doing the show, so I'm not driving as I'm doing the show. Just basically being safe here. So
I was going to say, it would be pretty impressive if you could with your drive with your knees, hands free would have been if you're driving along. But no, that's it.
Cheers, Paul. All the best.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And moving on, don't forget that today we have the remarkable slopestyle happening in the skiing, the snowboarding. So we'll be trying to bring you results of that tomorrow. Currently over in Europe we have the European Challenge Cup semi-final taking place between Bristol and Bordeaux, and they're currently after about half an hour, the score, Bordeaux are leading that one at 10-0. You've now started the day the best way, up to speed with all of the important sports news. Thank you for putting up with our technical issues this morning, and join us again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. as we come to you 7 days a week at 7 a.m. with the morning sports briefing here on New Zealand Sport Radio.